put it away, turn the page, and keep reading that so that in this moment, this scene, you'll experience the way I wanted you to with that song playing. You can also go back and control it at all times because I want you to be able to tailor your experience. You may hate listening to music while reading, or you may love it. You can sit there and repeat this all you want. You can stop it, start it. There's an element of control here that helps you tailor your reading. There are info buttons, you can learn more about the band. All windows work in these small frames or large ones. You can get more notes from me about why I picked that song or something why it matters. Most of them are one-liners that I'm long. And then there's sort of the actual content of the story, how you connect to it. In this case, The Survivors is a supernatural series. It takes place in modern day, but it's rooted historically in Salem, 1692, so the witch trials. So that means in the prologue, where we're historical, we've got some characters who are real historical characters. So this is Reverend Samuel Parris, very infamous. And here are the quick notes about what you can know about him. Now, if you read this in a hardback book and you didn't have this information, it stands alone just fine. It's not like the story or the app or what have you relies on this information. Probably stop talking there. But it just gives you what I would like you to know, what would help you, sort of know more about the story. Pictures, when they're relevant. We have navigation buttons, bigger and large, to plus and minus to make it bigger, and also pinch to close, those sort of things. We also have historical documents. This is a letter from a reproduction of a letter. Some of them are real, some of them are reproduced down to the scratch-outs. A letter from the governor of Massachusetts to the King of England. Full text is in here, including a description if you don't want to read that particular kind of content about what it is. But you'll notice that when you look at this page, it's very book page-like. It's not a bunch of pictures laid out. It's not whole extra things that you have to journey through to get to the next segment of the story. Instead, you can read the story, and as much as you want to touch these buttons, go for it. And as much as you don't want to, you don't have to. It becomes a very tailored experience in that way. Stories, here's, accused and afflicted, those are big words. The idea of character profiles for fictional characters. It would be lame of us to give you too much information at any time. When you first meet a character, then here's all you know about them. Maybe you even know less in the text, but this is the amount that you need to know. And as you later, 6 chapters in, find out this guy's a supernatural, he's 20 years old, here are his powers, and that's where that information will be. But it's not going to be there, as a spoiler. It's not going to take away from your reading experience. For us, a really big part of this was that you would be able to only enhance on the reading experience, but never take away max. And whether that's just a region, because this is generally what I want you to look at, fully workable, I should point out, based on how fast your connection speed is. Everything else is embedded except for this and one other feature we'll show you and we'll talk about. So they're all in here. Location photos where they're relevant. Again, it's a careful balance. How much is not enough? How much is too much? I go with the idea that not everybody can do a place that looks like this, especially not every 14-year-old. So I'm going to give you that place. I'm not going to show you more pictures where it's unnecessary. You don't have to, it's been a real careful balance to sort of figure all that out. I'll show you one more other feature kind of along that line of too much or not enough. And we hear a lot, okay, well, I'm looking at this and that's cool, but this is a very visual medium. So when it comes to a character profile, you're going to show me a picture. Well, for me, one of my favorite things to do is the imagining of the character. It's pretty sacred. So if I took that away from you just because there's something here that can have an image come up, then that would take away from your experience, I think. So instead what we do is we found a way to give you more visual information about a character without giving you, again, too much. In this case, our protagonist is very into fashion. Shows up in the book in various places, different designers appear and that sort of thing. And so she notices fashion about everyone, the way they dress, the way they carry themselves. So when you get to her character profile, you can see runway photos of models, figure here, who don't look alike, but whose style, in the way they carry themselves, can tell you a lot about the character. So it adds to your imagining, but it never takes away from. That's kind of the goal. But other times we have original songs. And so Deanna and I sort of teamed up because there's a whole theory behind how we pick two people and how we wrote songs. I'll just show you 10 seconds here. Our most recent music videos. Maybe 15. That's Patrick Thomas. He was a finalist on The Voice. That's Jenna Gill, Vince Gill's daughter. Terribly talented people, wonderfully talented people who agreed to do this for us.
First of all, you have to decide as a publisher what you are, and we wanted to become a media studio, which means that we had to have a book publisher that we would started. We own our own record label, our own music publishing company, our own videographers. You know, there are a lot of things in the creation of the content, and it's relative additional content. You could throw things in a book that don't, you know, that are just there for the sake of being there. Everything that we did, we felt was relative to the story and making it a better experience for the reader. From the watermarks that say, if you don't want to see any of this, you're not into any of it, just turn the pages and read the book. Budgeting, there's no way to know. This is such a new medium that there's really no way to accurately forecast what your budget's going to be. I don't think. Maybe people are better at it than we are. We spent more money than we intended to. We took more time than we did. And in the beginning stages, we had to decide, since we have a long history of software development, that we want to do that part of it. We looked around and met with a lot of people in the industry. We partnered with Demibooks, who this is what they do for a living. They're better at that than we are. We create content. They were great at that, and they were a great partner to be able to do that with. And so we did not want to do that. You have to pick your battles, be what you can be, and understand what you're not. Because, you know, if you don't, you just can't be all things to all people. We knew that. And it's not free. You know, it's not cheap. You know, and I hear that people going, you know, you can build this app for $5,000. You know, you couldn't operate our operation on that for a day. So it's, if you're going to get into this thing, it's not for the weak part. You got to be committed to it for the long term, like you said.